Welcome to the Wrestling Maniac. I am your host, Marvelous Guru Mike, your shaman of pro wrestling. Here on this episode, we will discuss the WWE pay-per-view results of Payback and see where I messed up and where I was right at. Let's get to the show. Hello, welcome everybody to the Wrestling Maniac. Want to review the WWE Payback pay-per-view that we just witnessed here tonight on the WWE Network. Overall, the show wasn't that bad. I was shocked that it wasn't that bad of a show. There were some points that were horrendous, but overall, the show delivered and entertained us all and had some really good storylines from the show that is going to develop going forward. Let's get to the matches. First off is on the kickoff show, we had Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson via the club. Overall, this was a good match. I thought that this would end the way that it did. Enzo and Cass went over, which I thought that would probably happen, and they needed to go over here after losing at WrestleMania, through the Hardys being signed. I thought that Enzo and Cass would go over here trying to build them up just a little bit more. And Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows was good opponents for them. I know that people that watched Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows in New Japan Pro Wrestling being the club over in New Japan thinks that they have been beat down and they have been misused for a good part over a year. But since they got their championship win, they lost at WrestleMania, their championship. They got beat by the Hardys on Monday Night Raw and in their rematch. Still, they're doing a little bit okay, but the writing is a little bit better for them. Overall, it was a good match. I give this match a astounding out of 1 out of 10. I give this match a 6. All right, moving forward, we have the next segment of the kickoff show, which was Miz TV. First off, I want to say this, is sometimes that during, it's better to have a really good promo, as I tweeted out, it's better to have a really good promo in place of a match. And this is exactly what this was. Finn Balor come out, he was over with the crowd, and the Miz interaction with him got him more over with the crowd. And he ended up having a sling blade on, doing a sling blade on the Miz and a missile drop kick. It was a good spot for both. There was a good chemistry between the Miz and Balor. The Miz proves once again that he is, I believe, one of the, or if not the best heel in the WWE. All of his work is golden, and I hope soon that he rescues the Intercontinental Championship off of Dean Ambrose and is again our Intercontinental Champion. He's a great heel. Would love to see an IC title belt between The Miz and Finn Balor going forward. Out of 1 out of 10, I give this segment an 8. Okay, now we come to the main show, the main pay-per-view. The show starts off with Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. The United States Championship stays with SmackDown Live. It means if Chris Jericho wins, he goes to SmackDown Live. The backstory of this match is this feud has been going on for several months. It's been a great story. There's Kevin Owens was a friend of Jericho's. Jericho helped him time and time again retain the Universal Championship. Then Kevin Owens turned his back on Jericho, and now as Jericho lost at WrestleMania, this is the rematch. Everyone was expecting, including myself, that Jericho was going to be defeated here because of his upcoming tour with Fozzy, and also his WWE contract is up. I believe it was the group I was talking in during the show said his WWE contract is up Monday. So I would look for Jericho to drop the title on SmackDown, and that or the next pay-per-view, but I preferably say SmackDown. As we know, AJ Styles is a number one contender for the United States Championship. Owens is due a rematch, so look for this to be the main event of SmackDown coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if we tomorrow do not get this news that the U.S. Championship will be defended by Chris Jericho on SmackDown by Kevin Owens, and then we'll see Chris Jericho ride into the sunset. I want to plug this. Everybody go check out his website. Everybody go check out Fozzy. Some great music there. His single hits this week. This match is, I would say, a 1 out of 10. This match was a 7. It was a good match, as both of them always deliver. Next, we have the Cruiserweight Championship. Austin Aries versus Neville. It was a good match. A lot of cruiserweight, high-flying moves going on here. Guys moved great in the ring. Again, Neville shows forth a great heel tendencies in this match. Actually, he pulled to stop a disqualification. Neville pulled the ref into Austin Aries, and he was disqualified. Great way for a heel to get heat with the crowd. It's a great way for a heel to do heel tactics in a match. Austin Aries wins via disqualification, but Neville retains the Cruiserweight Championship. Neville, I look for this feud to continue on. I don't know how long this is going to go on, this feud. It might Money in the Bank, if that is going to be a promotional match, maybe a match there, or we may see the blow-off match to this feud at SummerSlam, which it wouldn't surprise me any. This match, I would give a 1 out of 10. I would give I'd probably give this match a 7 as well. It was a good match, good storytelling in this match. That's what I look for when I look at matches, is a storytelling that was in this match. Next, we have the Raw Tag Championship, the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. The Hardy Boys went over here. Again, we're seeing tendencies of broken Matt Hardy all throughout this match, leading up into this match, even with the segment that was in the pre-show with the Hardys and Golden Truth, Goldust and R-Truth back in the back. We see tendencies. We're starting to see more tendencies of the broken Hardys here. It was a good match, back and forth. The ending was strong for the Hardys that picked up the win. Also, after the match, after the bell rung, Sheamus and Cesaro turned heel, continued to beat down the Hardys, particularly Matt. Took a brogue kick to the head. It was a little bit bleeding there. So I would not be surprised on Raw or the next time that the Hardys come to TV that we do not see the broken universe in the WWE, which will be awesome. It will be money. It was great storytelling on the Hardys' part here, and Sheamus and Cesaro, great storytelling again. I give this match an 8. It was a good match. People say it may be too high, but I look at the storytelling aspect of these matches. It was a good match overall. Next, we have the Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. It was an okay match. There were some good spots in this match. We saw some humorous heel tendencies from Alexa Bliss. She is amazing in the ring. She looks great. But in the end, Bayley got in the end. As I was wrong on this match, I predicted Bayley to go over. I thought that they would keep the title on Bayley, but Alexa Bliss defeated Bayley with a pretty good-looking DDT, and she got the 1, 2, 3, and she is your new Raw's champion. I don't disagree with the putting the title on Bliss. This is what I look for in the match and the storytelling. Now that Alexa Bliss is the champion, and they hinted a little bit of this with Sasha on the pre-show, I look for Bliss and Sasha to get into a little bit of a program here, and then we're going to go forth and hopefully, I don't know if Sasha is going to go over Bliss or not, but I was hoping that what they would do is they would instead, the women. The problem I have with the women's championship is that it has been passed around like a hot potato. Too many. Great matches on both people on Sasha Banks and Charlotte, and then Bayley. But it's passed around too much, and I'm a 4. You say I'm a 4. Charlotte said she's a 4-time women's champion, and Sasha said she's a 3-time women's champion, and seven. We had 7 title changes, not including the one with Bayley last year, and I may be even missing one, but that's too much, I believe, for a championship to gain a little bit of legitimacy. I think that there should have been some longer, about maybe 2 or 3 of them title runs should have been cut out. And I would have liked to have seen Bayley hold onto this title at least to SummerSlam. Also, another fact is this was in Bayley's hometown. It seems like when it's in someone's hometown that it's a guarantee that somebody is going to lose the title. And that's not it would have been a good, I think that it would have been a good thing for Bayley to go over here in her hometown. Maybe at the next pay-per-view, maybe have, Alexa win there. Also, Alexa is the first Raw Women's and SmackDown Women's Championship. She's the first person to hold both championships. Surely I thought that they would have let Charlotte have that because of their affection with Charlotte. The writers and the creatives' affection with Charlotte, which it made sense. But don't slack Alexa any. She's a great heel, and she is a walking promo. And even on Raw Talk after the pay-per-view, she had some hysterical comments that was intended for Renee Young, if anyone caught that. But it was okay. But I'll give this match a 5 out of 10. It was an average match. They did okay. They had some good spots, but it wasn't nothing that we haven't seen before. I think that Alexa and Bailey meshes okay together. I'm really waiting to see, how Sasha and her work together. I know that there are rumors that Alexa and Sasha have actual heat with one another from some comments that Sasha made in NXT. Hopefully that those, hopefully in real life, that has there's been taken care of, but it does make it in kayfabe. It does give a good story to build out of, and we can see that with this. So maybe the women's division will grow here. We can see Nia Jax get in the mix. We can see Emmeline getting the. I'm sorry if I pronounce that wrong. Get in the mix and actually have, instead of it just going from 1 to 2 or 3 people, that there is actually some depth on the women's side in on Raw. I mean, you have Mickie James that is here on Raw, and she has been, even when she has come, ever since she has come back, she has been underutilized on Raw. Even if it's not Sasha, which it might be Sasha that gets into this program right away, maybe Mickie James that gets involved with a feud with Alexa Bliss. That could be a good match, and though I want to see the title. I don't want to see the title change so much. I want to see it a longer title reign there. I do want to mention also on the overall show, the IC title, Dean Ambrose, not on the show at all. The IC title, not on the show at all. It's ridiculous. Get the title. If you're not going to use Ambrose, get the title off him. Put it on Miz. Miz can carry that title. And then have a feud between Finn Balor and The Miz. It's money. Okay, let's move on to... I'm going to skip the House of Horrors for right now because it was in 2 different sections. Let's go to Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. I was wrong on the outcome of this one. It was a good match. Seth sold the injury to his knee really well. He gets the win over Samoa Joe via roll up, using the chokehold against using the Cobra Clutch. Of course, he did not have the Cobra Clutch locked in fully. Samoa Joe didn't, and he used it to pin Joe, rolling him back up. Sort of shades of what WrestleMania 13 exactly. What Bret Hart did to Stone Cold Steve Austin when Stone Cold Steve Austin, not WrestleMania 13, I'm sorry, it was the submission match between, I forget which might have been Survivor Series, I'll have to go back and look, where the submission match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, where Bret Hart rode Stone Cold up for the win. But that was before the the famous double turn there. But anyway, a little bit shades there of that match. Seth sold pretty well here through the entire match. But there's to me. I mean, I don't know if it's any fault of Seth or if it's writing, but there seems to be some sort of lacking there in Rollins, but he's very athletic in the ring. He gives his all. He does all that he can do. Um, he and you know, I though do believe that this match should have went to the pin to Samoa Joe. I know this feud probably is going to continue, but Samoa Joe needs to be built. Seth Rollins, I don't know how. How does I ask the question? How does Seth Rollins benefit from this win? Is he make a claim to Brock Lesnar to be Brock Lesnar's opponent? No, he doesn't. I don't think that he has a. I don't think that he can step in front of Braun Strowman. Does Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins, do they get into a feud now? Is this how this is going to go? Or is this feud going to continue with Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe would have been the one that would have benefited the most here out of a pinfall. He failed. In the words of Triple H, he failed. The King failed, or the Creator failed in being Triple H, and Samoa Joe failed to pin Seth Rollins. Where do they go from here? Where do they go from here? I don't know. You can tweet me on, or you can tweet me on Twitter, Real Guru Wrestle on Twitter. Where do we go from here? What do we do? I mean, how does this benefit Seth Rollins? I mean, he tells a great story in the ring. How does this benefit him at all? I mean, he seems like his character's lost. This would have more benefited Joe, that you build Joe up here and you have this other monster heel here that hasn't been beaten, and Joe, if Joe won. So, I was wrong on this match. Oh, got about 90% of this card right, but on this match, I was wrong. Seth Rollins defeated Joe, rolling him up. But anyway, it was what it was. All right, now we get to the House of Horrors match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I made a comment on Twitter. I understand now why this match was called a House of Horrors. The House of Horrors was for the people that was in San Jose having to watch the production of this monstrosity on the Titantron, and for us at home having to watch it. So this is how this ends. All of a sudden, and I'm going to dissect this, and this is probably going to be pretty harsh. So we start off the House of Horrors by Randy Orton pulling up in a limousine at a house. How do we know Randy? Storytelling 101. How do we know that Randy Orton's supposed to go to this house? Is this house like magical, that it has some address to be, that he is supposed to go there? Would it be better here on this to actually give Randy Orton, that somebody hands him an address? Have some storytelling that is involved here. It's storytelling 101. I mean, come on, WWE. You produce movies. Some of them, at least decent movies, that have a little bit of storytelling. And you're telling me that you can't get a story right. You cannot have a plot. You cannot have anything in this story that leads the audience saying, oh, this is why Randy is going to this house. We know we can follow this story. Unless he just magically shows up via a limousine here at this house. Is there a chauffeur here? I mean, does the WWE automatically chauffeur people around in limousines all the time? Is this how this works? He's not driving people where? He's not searching. There's no passion. He just shows up. So anyway, he shows up at this house. He goes inside this house. There's nothing really scary here. It looks like It is somebody's rented empty house. That's all it looks like. All of a sudden, there's fighting that's going on. Bray Wyatt said, "You took everything from me, now I'm going to take everything from you. Welcome to hell, Randy." And so we have two dudes fighting in a house. There's only one weird scene that was here. That was when Randy Orton went into a room and there was a bunch of evil babies with pins sticking in them hanging from the ceiling. There was so much. I mean, here we have this mystical character in Bray Wyatt. We have this guy that has empowered himself with the ashes of his dead sister on TV. Where's all the people there? They could have been creative here. I mean, a House of Horrors. I mean, come on, man. This isn't 1950s. This is 2017, provide me something that's going to want me to watch this. Where is the Wyatt family in this? Where is, one sequence, Randy Orton's walking down the hallway. Bray Wyatt sticks his hand out. Wouldn't it have been a better sequence if Randy Orton would have walked down the hallway and all of these hands come out and was touching him and all of this stuff? I mean, come on, man. Another thing here in this sequence. Okay, Bray Wyatt. They're fighting in a kitchen. It looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a little while. I mean, come on, man. Is this Wyatt's house? I mean, this is Wyatt's house. Can he not afford to spray a little dust spray and dust a little bit? Come on, dude. Okay. We have, if they was sitting at all spooky and stuff, I guess that was what it was supposed to be. And here we have this, and they was fighting here in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, Randy Orton gets a refrigerator dropped on top of him. And then Bray Wyatt leaves, and the shot coming out of the house, we see a microphone. We see a microphone in the shot. This is how cheap and how ridiculous the WWE is. You're supposed to be a movie producing. You produce movies, and you have a microphone in the shot. Your cameraman can't be still. He's all wobbling around. You don't have a boom. You don't have anything that can steady the camera. This is, it's harsh, but this is a load of crap. The House of Horrors matches off feel like it was not no House of Horrors at all. It wasn't a fun house. Here we thought there wouldn't be a fun house, or oh yeah, it was. You know what? It was two guys in an empty house beating the hell out of each other. That's all it was. We don't know whose the house was. We don't know if they rented the house. We don't know if the house was going to be. It was one of the houses that was going to be torn down or not. It was horrible, the House of Horrors. I mean, it was, we had this fear that this match was going to be horrible. Then all of a sudden, Bray walks out. No pyro, no burning the house down, which would have been pretty cool. You have to admit it. Would have been pretty cool if the house would have been burnt down. I mean, the WWE can afford it. They could have just burned the house down on Randy. Of course, not Randy in there, but, come on, give us something. Give us some story, And instead, Bray goes to the limo driver, and the limo driver, Bray says, take me back to the arena. Come on, man. It is horrible storytelling. And so we go back to the arena. Bray standing in the ring after his entrance. And there's Randy Orton. They persist to beat one another. And all of a sudden, the Bollywood boys show up. Randy Orton beats them off. Then all of a sudden, Jinder Mahal. The one time, I am not a Jinder Mahal fan, but thank God Jinder Mahal showed up and ended this feud by hitting Randy Orton in the head with the WWE title. And Bray Wyatt caught Randy Orton in the Sister Abigail and got the win. Not for the title. Bray never got his rematch. There's no story. The problem is there's no story development on Bray Wyatt. He could be so much more, but the WWE continues to shit on his character. making him more of a comical character instead of a character to be feared. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than to be loved. This is this case that would work with Bray Wyatt, and it was complete shit. I think I might be wrong. People say, "Oh, you need to appreciate the production value." You know what? I know I've had several people tell me that. You know, this was horrible. I mean, the reason is that this wasn't an indie film session. WWE produces movies and they can't produce a vignette that is decent? Come on, man. Come on, man. This match was a 2 out of 10. It sucked. The reason why it got a 2 simply was the fact that Jinder Mahal showed up and saved the match. Now, Jinder Mahal is being built as a great heel. But then the bell rings, and we're going to find out that Jinder Mahal ain't crap. And I'm sorry to say that. He's awful in the ring. So that is my soapbox for this pay-per-view. 7 months of feuding ended with this. I know Randy Orton is saying, thank God this crap is over with. Production value was horrible. You know, I mean, there might have been some good moments, but, you know, they could have done better. You know, and it is sad. WWE produces movies. You know, WWE never, ever, ever again produce a House of Horrors match. DDT in Japan probably can take this make it an actual House of Horrors match. And make it actually a production where it actually is entertaining. This was not entertaining at all. I'm glad it's over with. You know, I mean, it's to the point now between these two that I hope these two never have to face each other again. WWE, you know what? I hope that Randy Orton gets into a good feud with Jinder Mahal. He's supposed to get into a feud with some other people that's on the SmackDown Live roster. Maybe Rusev. Maybe some different ones. Maybe they can bring in some people. What I would do personally, putting my thoughts and my feelings aside on Jinder Mahal's physique that I believe that he's on steroids. Let's just take it for what it is. Use the guy. I mean, put the belt on him. You know, put the belt on Jinder Mahal. Let him run for about a month and let him do overseas tour around in the Middle East and in Asia and in India. Maybe we can get some good talent. Let the WWE expand over there. Maybe we can get some good talent to go to NXT from that area. That is probably what I would do. And let him have a short title run and then get the belt off of him and set up Randy Orton and AJ Styles for SummerSlam. That's what I would do. Okay, now we're moving on to the next match. Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, as we thought would happen, would come out. He was all bandaged up. He was, and then we had this match. Braun Strowman said he was no more than a wounded animal, and now he was going to put him down. It was a great build of Braun Strowman in this match. Reigns, he did sell very well in this match. Match was over. Strowman continued his assault on Reigns in the ring, beat Roman down, and I'm sure he had a blood capsule, and he used a blood capsule that he was bleeding out of the mouth. I'll say that it was good. Uh, since the WWE is not going to turn Roman heel, this is the way that they're going to have to go with trying to get Roman over as a babyface. I know there's a lot of Roman Reigns fans out there that just think it's horrible that he was treated like this, but this is what you do. You tear down your stars and then you build them back up. And what Vince created, Vince can destroy, and it has to look for Roman to be off TV. Roman Reigns. The only issue that I have with this entire match is that Roman Reigns left the ring under his own power. I know that he got to say Roman looks strong. He's got to look strong, But man, he was bleeding out of the mouth. That is a sign in kayfabe. That is a sign of serious internal injuries, and you don't need to be leaving the ring under your own power. If they don't want to put him on a stretcher, then have someone assist him walking back. It was a good sequence, but we found out why they did this. They built up another sequence of Braun Strowman attacking the ambulance, but Braun Strowman missed a body shot and tore the door completely off of the ambulance this time, and Braun and Roman looked a little bit strong. He said, "Why was this? I don't understand." Well, it's the old adage that we have, and the old adage what Vince had, that Hulk must pose. Roman must look and continue to look strong. But still, Roman is probably going to be off of TV for a little while. It's going to probably be good. You can say, well, I don't get to see. How can you? There's another adage in wrestling. It's from Jim Cornette, as I said in my last podcast. How can you miss me unless I'm gone? And Roman Reigns. Now, if Roman Reigns comes back and he's like, "I'm here. I'm the big dog," which I think I wouldn't be a bit surprised. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Roman doesn't show up on house shows again. But in kayfabe land, this was good. Number 2, I'm glad that Roman Reigns took a pin. Even though he took a pin and put over Braun Strowman, which is great. Braun Strowman needs to be built up. Like I said, he's going to be the next opponent of Brock Lesnar, not Seth Rollins, but it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. That'll be good for Braun Strowman's career. Braun Strowman does not need to go over Brock Lesnar. So, Will, I don't agree. I hear this. And I see a lot of tweets about this. Well, Brock Lesnar hasn't been on Raw. Well, Brock Lesnar doesn't have to be on Raw. I will say this, that it would have been good for once if Brock would have made an appearance on Raw. He did make an appearance after WrestleMania, which I guess was his appearance, which is good. But he don't need to be there. The Universal title does not need to be defended every pay-per-view, especially small pay-per-views. But the IC title needs to be there. It needs to be defended. You do not see New Japan Pro Wrestling. You don't see them casting off Naito, the IC champion. No, it's either he's defending the IC title at the end of the show, or Okada, the IWGP champion, heavyweight champion, is defending at the end of the show. Either one of those two. So this was the Raw pay-per-view. Um, so I give it overall 6 or 7, give or take. That's what I would say. House of Horrors match brought this pay-per-view down really, really low. I don't know how it could have been better produced. So much better produced. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company that produces movies, and here they can't put on a vignette that is that vignette that they put on was worse than a B-rated movie. It was. Uh, 6 or 7. I give the show. It was a decent show. The show flowed pretty well if you exclude the House of Horrors match. It had some great spots, great storytelling. I think that now really the storytelling is going to pick up for Raw. Now that this is over with, this pretty much culminates this pretty much culminates what has happened. A few other notes in wrestling. I watched Impact again here past week. Scott Steiner was good to see. Again, the announcing on the program was awful. Oh my God. Hashtag fuck that Al. It's the truth. They have some decent storylines going on there. I guess nothing of the caliber of Ring of Honor, New Japan, or the WWE. But the announcing is just atrocious. The bickering and the constant bickering back and forth between the announcers. It's just so awful. It just makes the show, I don't even want to watch it. I don't even know if I want to watch it this next week or not. I may, just to give you a little bit of feedback. Then we have the New Japan had their a pay-per-view Saturday. I believe it was Saturday, yeah. And that show was pretty good. It had some good matches in it. New Japan's, it was not, they didn't have English commentary on it, so it was a little bit hard to follow. I wish they had subtitles. Good junior heavyweight defense. Ricochet was great. So was the ticking time bomb. Match of the night was Juice Robinson versus Naito for the IC IWGP Championship, Intercontinental Championship. Good match. It was above anything that was on this pay-per-view of the WWE for sure. There was some really hard bumps where Juice Robinson did a power bomb or a spine buster on the edge of the apron, and it looked like it really hurt. And that's the only issue really I have with New Japan. These guys take really hard bumps, and it's really shortened their careers. I know it looks real and it's great for the audience, but it's all, number one, it's about protecting your wrestlers. And really they don't do that a whole bunch in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They really take some hard bumps there. But overall, it was a great match. Naito went over. I did not look for Juice to beat Naito, but it was a good showing for Juice. I'm glad that he was able to get a little bit of spotlight. He is immensely talented. Next, we have and then next we had Tanahashi come out and challenge Naito for the IC title again. That's going to be good rematch. I don't know. There may be some actual Naito may lose to Tanahashi, which I don't actually I wouldn't mind seeing Tanahashi with the IC belt for a little while. But I really like Naito. I love the faction that he's in. I really can't pronounce it. So I'm sorry. But anyway, that's what my thoughts on wrestling. That's my thoughts on the WWE Payback review. Overall, I picked most of the matches, and I do say that I did a good job myself. If you want to follow me on Twitter at realguruswrestle.com. You support me on my Patreon if you so choose to do. We'll be getting some Patreon content up when we get some Patreons that are contributing for at least $1 a month as we get things rolling here. You are listening to the Wrestling Maniac program. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you down the road. We will see you for our Raw review. Hopefully we'll be having some more programs come out this week on SoundCloud. We can get this program going on iTunes and Stitcher. This will be on YouTube and on SoundCloud. You guys take care. You have a great evening. And you're listening to the Maniac Wrestling Podcast.